talk about the law regarding child abduction. I'm sitting alongside Mr. Christopher Lee of Domenech Abogados, which I've now discovered was actually the surname of his wife. He just revealed earlier on. So when you got married, did you take your wife's surname? That would be interesting.
No, but of course, like everybody here, our kids have got both surnames.
Okay. Fantastic. Right, so classic. What are some of the classic scenarios? You mentioned there hard and soft abduction. Now, when we're talking about a soft abduction, in your experience of working in this area, can you give me one or two examples that you've come across?
Yes, I mean, I think there is the law that we principally apply in relation to abductions is an international convention, and it's called the Hague Convention, and it was signed in The Hague, obviously, in 1980. And although I was a boy in shorts in the 70s, I understand that when they were talking about putting it into place, they thought that what they were going to be combating was these sort of hard abductions, particularly of dads. I mean, dads, fast cars, grabbing kids. But the reality is that the countries that have signed the Hague Convention, and all European Union countries have signed it, and lots of other countries, America signed it, Australia signed it. There are countries which are non-convention, and there it is much more difficult to retrieve children. But that's the main international instruments that's used, and the figures show that the majority of abductions are actually, or maybe not surprisingly, they are mums. They are the majority, not always, of course, but anyway, the majority are mothers, and they are the primary carers of the children. And one of the problems in relation to Spain, obviously you can have abductions into Spain, or any country, you can have abductions in. The child is brought into the country away from what's called their habitual residence, the country of their habitual residence. That triggers an abduction claim. Or the child can be taken out of the country. And in Spain, taking children out, so the mother who keeps the children in California, or the mother who just disappears one night because he's working a night shift and she's going back to her folks in Melbourne in Australia, she may well have had advice, and my experience is quite often it's bad advice because it's a very specialist area, and family law in England, for example, there are very many international family law experts. In Spain, family law tends to be very parochial, not international, and every lawyer thinks they know about family law. So the really terrible advice to receive as a mum who may be thinking of taking that step, and I have many mothers who've received this advice, and it is, oh, he's never changed a nappy in his life. Oh, he's always drinking at the pub. Oh, you're the primary carer. Of course you can go. He doesn't look after the kids. Of course you can go. Even they'll say because there's often no court order in place, but if there's an order that gives her custody, they'll say, well, of course you can go. You've got custody. That is wrong. It is wrong. She's not allowed to go, and she can be brought back. It's a criminal offence, and depending on the country that she takes them to, it can be a very nasty, unpleasant experience that lasts for 2 or 3 months getting her back.